and welcome to today's National Distance Learning Week presentation. We're thrilled that you're all joining us today. I'm happy to host this session. I'm Erin Maney, and I manage our Communications and Community Engagement unit at SUNY Online. Today, I would like to introduce you to our friends at Albany. Sara Bagrow is the online program specialist in the School of Public Health at the University of Albany. She has received a Bachelor's of Arts in English and Communications from Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts in North Adams, Massachusetts. She's currently working toward a Master's of Science in Curriculum Development and Instructional Technology. And she has been both a traditional and an online student, which gives her a broad perspective and a strong understanding of the online experience. As the online program specialist, Sara assists and supports new and continuing students from start to finish with completing their program requirements. Her goal is to enhance online student services and provide a quality experience for students in all phases of their public health academic journey. And Sara is joined today by Dr. Brenda Kirkwood, who currently serves as the Director of Online Education at the University of Albany in the School of Public Health, where she is also a clinical associate professor in the Department of Health Policy, Management, and Behavior. Brenda has experience in higher education, spanning public and private institutions on the associate, baccalaureate, and graduate levels, including the development and teaching of undergraduate and graduate public health courses, and the development and management of public health academic programs, student mentorship, and contributing to national educational initiatives. Dr. Kirkwood has been actively involved in national efforts to expand public health education and also strengthen the public health workforce. So we're so happy to host you today and learn more about what you are doing to support students in this online community. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. May I begin?
Absolutely, we'll let you share.
Sorry, newbie here. Okay. Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Sara, and here with me today is Brenda, Dr. Kirkwood. And today we are here to discuss our School of Public Health online community, which is designed to serve the over 250 students in various stages of degree completion enrolled in one of our fully online programs. These include 3 fully online graduate certificates and 1 fully online master's program, the Master of Public Health, abbreviated as MPH, and that's how I'll mostly refer to it as MPH. So, why an online community? Well, for us, a couple of reasons. For many of our students, this is their first experience completing a degree online, and often their very first experience with online learning, as our part-time program attracts a large number of non-traditional learners. The majority of our students are working professionals, holding positions in state and county health departments, within hospitals, nursing homes, and other healthcare settings, and a variety of community-based organizations. As with any new student, anxiety abounds. Add to that mystifying academic policies and procedures, a bevy of other unknowns and competing priorities, and you end up with one very overwhelmed individual with a lot of questions. We also know online learning can be isolating, and much like on-campus or traditional students, distance education students also seek a sense of belonging or community. Sense of community is important as it has been linked to decreased feelings of isolation, as well as increased satisfaction and improved outcomes.
Sara, before you go on, we're not seeing your slides.
Oh no, I apologize. One moment. Is that working?
Yes.
My apologies, everyone. So I will leave this slide up for just a second. I was going to switch it, but I will leave it up for a moment and then I will move it along. Research shows, above all, online students seek clarity. They want easily accessible information and clear direction, and they'd like it now because they have just 30 more minutes before their kids' nap time is over. Our community is, at its core, a response to the frequently asked questions we receive from students, and as such is constantly updated to best serve their changing needs. Sorry about that. Lastly, part of being an online student is assuming more responsibility for your learning. Perhaps for the first time, students are experiencing instructors as facilitators of learning rather than directors. While we are available to answer student questions, promoting student autonomy means we make available plentiful resources and information and ask students to take the initiative to seek them out. Our School of Public Health community serves students in the fully online MPH program, as well as those enrolled in our fully online graduate level certificate programs, including our Public Health Fundamentals and Principles, Global Health Studies, and Public Health Surveillance and Preparedness program. Our online community has been in use in different iterations since 2014. It was originally intended to serve as a resource specifically for our online MPH student population. As an interdepartmental program with no on-campus requirements, this community was and is critical to effectively communicate relevant program information and easily accessible resources to students in a consistent manner. After a few years, the certificate programs were added to the community under the newly established Office of Online Education. And our community has also inspired other uses of Blackboard communities within the School of Public Health, including our Doctor of Public Health career community and the newer orientation community. So our system is, or our community is located within the University Learning Management System, which for University at Albany is Blackboard, which is the system students use to access their online courses. Blackboard has a unique community tab designed to facilitate online community engagement for campus pursuits beyond coursework, and is designed to host communities for committees, groups, and departments. As students access their online coursework in the same location, this removes a barrier had we located this resource elsewhere. And the design, as you can see, of our community is very simple and straightforward. On purpose, this makes it easy for busy students to navigate. And students are immediately greeted with this page here, our news and upcoming events section. Our graduate assistant helps keep us apprised of university activities and lends a hand in maintaining the community. So while our community provides resources for all of our fully online students at the School of Public Health, we also created a special section just for our newly enrolled students to help them adjust to their studies and the university. Directly after a student enrolls in our program, we send out a detailed welcome letter with next steps. We personalize this letter to each student, taking into consideration their unique background. For example, they may be a graduate of our Certificate in Public Health Fundamentals and Principles program, and now they're continuing on into the online MPH. And we want to ensure we celebrate and recognize this achievement in our communications. So within this email, we guide students to the Blackboard community by way of our new student orientation section, encouraging students to first introduce themselves in the orientation forum. This is a student's first chance to make connections with their classmates and a way to foster the development of social presence, or an opportunity to show that there is, in fact, a real person behind the laptop. This area is a work in progress for us, and as we hope for students to engage more with each other, returning to the community to check out and respond to new posts. Last semester, we had a large influx of new students and saw a marked increase in students utilizing this forum, which is great. We would like to capitalize on this and continue this momentum going forward. Other areas within our new student orientation include a Blackboard learning management system tutorial, an online learning frequently asked questions, School of Public Health overview, as well as resources that we're showing here, including our University Writing Center and our School of Public Health overview. In that new student section, we also maintain a staff and advisors page so students can connect a face with a name. Our student features page introduces new learners to the many opportunities that await them in their studies. It is common for students new to online learning to be concerned about the ability to have a rich, authentic learning experience in a fully online program. We believe this area reinforces limitless possibilities available. For example, over the summer of 2020, 2 MPH students, and 1 was fully online, worked together writing a grant to aid the New York State Public Health Association. Their proposal was accepted and turned into a field training internship for our online student, where she will see the impact of this grant firsthand. Here we also provided an example of another of our current student features, Dr. Lou Rockowitz, an emergency medicine physician in New York City, who is on the front line of the pandemic response. Lastly, within that new student section, we provide information and links to online learning resources, such as time management apps, and information on expected technology skills. We have found that while students may be comfortable with advanced computer skills, such as using statistical software, sometimes they require brushing up on more basic computer skills. This helps to ensure a smoother transition, allowing students to focus on coursework instead of getting bogged down in logistics. For our current students, we have specially curated sections specific to their programs, broken down into certificate and online MPH. For certificate students, the subsections provide answers to some of their most frequently asked questions, including course syllabi and descriptions, upcoming semester course offerings, as well as guidance on transitioning to the online MPH program, which is a popular pathway for our certificate in public health fundamentals and principles graduates. Subsections for our online MPH community are also born from student questions, including course syllabi and descriptions, plan of study, upcoming semester course offerings, and adding on graduate certificate, as well as internship information. We'll highlight 2 of these sections, starting with our upcoming course offerings. We're highlighting course offerings for a couple of reasons. As a large research university, UAlbany maintains a schedule of classes, or what classes are offered each semester. And this is accessible to the entire university. Several pieces of information are required to receive the intended result, including course prefixes and class numbers. New students may not yet be familiar with the lingo and become a little frustrated. So our solution is to upload a PDF of class offerings specific to our programs each semester. And at a glance, a student can see what classes are offered, the instructor, and prerequisites. This document pulls together information from different university resources and offices and has been immensely helpful for our students as it provides clarity. It ensures they don't miss any opportunities for enrolling in a course. As all courses are not offered every semester, this is important information. Our second highlight is internship information. Our internship program is robust. It encompasses 9 credits, typically completed at 2 different sites. Fully online students assume more responsibility in locating and developing their internships, as this has proven to work best over the years, as students appreciate developing internships that meet their unique circumstances and diverse interests. So naturally, given the amount of planning, credits, and time involved, our online MPH students are curious about what it entails. We provide numerous examples of prior internships, as well as internship preparation, detailed handbooks, forms, and credit waiver information, all available 24/7. Other resources we provide within this community include information on course registration, professional development information, transfer credit assistance, as well as links to policies and procedures. And this is just a look at our professional development, a bit of information. All in all, our School of Public Health community is designed to serve as a repository for both academic and university resources, as well as an area for students to connect and share with one another. We hope this resource helps students realize their part in a vibrant learning community, as well as provides easy access to important course and academic information. Just a few of our references we used. And then our information, and of course, if there's any questions. But our information is there if you'd like to reach out and contact either Dr. Kirkwood, Brenda, or myself.
Thank you so much, Sarah. This is great information. There were some comments and questions in the chat that Dr. Kirkwood has addressed already. And it's neat to see that this community has been around for a while, so it's really robust and it's been growing. So do students continue to have access to this throughout their program?
Yes, yes, they do. They have access to this community throughout their entire program. There's resources for newly enrolled students, but also resources to assist students throughout their program. As an example, when a student is ready to pursue their internship, that is after 24 credits have been completed. So we definitely want to make sure they have access during that time. And there's graduation information as well.
Right, okay, that's great. And so my other thought was about connecting the students. I did mention in the chat that I just love the student features section. I think that's a great way for them to get to know each other. And aside from the introductory sort of, introduce yourself area, are there opportunities for students to meet each other in a mentoring kind of capacity? The ones who have been in the program maybe longer and meeting up with the newer folks?
I can chime in too, Sarah, as you're thinking, if you have more to add too, but nothing formal. I mean, we encourage all students to be contributing to that discussion board in terms of, introducing themselves and check back, don't just post and never refer back to that post, but continuing to encourage students to check that out, to see what their fellow classmates are doing, because it's really funny it really is a small world, right? So it's so funny sometimes when you hear from other students to say like, oh, I also live in Rochester. Oh, we should, connect. Or I also work, on water quality. Let's, get together and talk about that. So it's funny how those connections are made. But yeah, it does take some effort on the part of the student to seek out, a little bit more information about their fellow classmates. In addition, so speaking of those discussion boards, in addition to that, introduction that we ask all of our new students to post to. There's also an opportunity, a separate discussion board pertaining to, it pertains primarily to like internships. So we try to encourage students to post information about the internships that they have completed. That gives other students ideas, tips and tricks for searching out their own internship. So, you know, we try to encourage students, you know, to utilize that, post questions. Like I had one student recently, you know, she's really trying to find an internship in her geographic area elsewhere across the state. So I said, post it, post that question. See, I mean, you have, you know, about 200 students that are in this community. So there's bound to be somebody, you know, that can help link you with organizations. So we attempt to encourage that dialogue between the students, but I can't say, you know, we have any kind of formal process set up for those who've been in the program speaking with, you know, more of the newer students coming in.
Well, it sounds like even that, just the sharing of their internships and the ideas that can be cultivated there, it seems like, you know, some nice connections can be made. So that's great.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions or thoughts other than what we've already, I think, posted in the chat? You can feel free to also unmute yourself if you'd like.
Hi, it's Johanna from Albany. For those who don't know me, I was just wondering what has been some of the student feedback on the space, and maybe how have you incorporated that into the changes that you've made over the last 6 years?
Absolutely. Our community is at its core a response to student questions. And just the other day, I was adding some information because a student said, "Hey, could we put that somewhere I can find it?" And I said, "We sure can." We can put it in the community. Typically, when I introduce students to the community, whether it's as soon as they enroll, which is typically how it happens, I reach out personally and introduce them to the community. They're usually pretty excited about it as it's a resource. And if we can remember when we were all in school, or I'm still in school, there's so many questions that happen, and it's nice to be able to access them on my time schedule.
Yes, precisely. I mean, that was really the impetus behind this community in the first place, is, you know, to have one-stop shopping for students to have ready access to in a place that they can easily access, that they're familiar, you know, with Blackboard and the setup, 24/7 access. So if, you know, Sarah and I aren't available, you know, when the student has a question, that they at least can go to the community and hopefully get their question answered there. You know, over the years, it is a process in that we do continue to have to remind students that it's there, because I think a very natural reaction of anybody is to immediately, they have a question, they immediately want to email us. We're trying to get them out of that habit and instead send them to the community. First, check the community, because more than likely their question can be answered there. Certainly, we're always available to our students via email. But, you know, I know a lot of our students who are non-traditional, you know, they have busy, busy lives. They're working professionals, balancing family, work obligations while going to school. I know a lot of times they're focusing on their coursework or their, you know, their academics on the weekends, late at night, where we may not be, you know, one email away. So we do find ourselves reminding students about this resource, but as Sarah said, you know, we continually adapt it to the student needs. You know, if a student was saying like, "Oh, I was looking around on the UAlbany website and I couldn't find such and such," then, you know, we try to put it in a more prominent location on our community, so students don't have to go hunting around on the various websites. So we definitely have the student focus in mind in this creation.
And you've really just cultivated, you know, from all those other external resources, what they're going to need and brought it into this one location. So I think that's great. And then to be responsive to their questions to continually evolve it is also wonderful. I think that there's a nice opportunity too for some of your faculty in the school to be able to point students to the resource and redirect them back, maybe the Blackboard tutorials, right, for new students who aren't sure how to do certain things in the LMS. So it's a great teaching tool as well as a knowledge base.
Yes, you summarized that very well, Erin. Thank you.
Great. Any other thoughts or questions?
And I'll end with just, you know, if anyone else is thinking of creating their own community for their own student population, I mean, I really think it is valuable. It gives those students, you know, like we said, you know, that one-stop shopping, which I think is so vital for an online student population. That, you know, even if we weren't in the midst of a pandemic right now, they're not on campus and can't just, you know, go, you know, to the office, the financial aid office down the hall, or, you know, anything like that. So they rely on us as, you know, staff within the office a lot. But we want to make sure that they have that information at their fingertips throughout, and not to rely just on us. So yeah, I would encourage anyone who's thinking about it or was thinking about what's an easy way that you can get a lot of information to students in a consistent manner. This has been very helpful for us. And as you can see, I mean, there have been so many other Blackboard communities that have been spin-offs from our community that we had developed for other student groups within the school. So I think that's a testament too, that it's viewed as a valuable resource for other student populations as well.
And in that idea of creating, you know, that space for students, Diane's question is really a good one too. Why did you choose to use the Blackboard community space as opposed to maybe creating a website for them?
Sure.
Go ahead, Sarah.
No, I'm sorry. Brenda will definitely have some additional information, but at least one of the reasons is students already access the Blackboard learning management system for their coursework through the academics tab, and the community tab, where our community is located, is just one tab over. So had we located this resource in a different location, it might have had a bit of a barrier for students accessing it, as they'd have to go to a completely different location. Hopefully they're signing into their classes daily. And so the community tab is right there.
Yes, and we did want to protect, you know, some of the information, you know, too. So it is only accessible by students who are enrolled in one of our programs. So, you know, certainly with a website, you know, there's opportunity there that it could get into other people's hands that we wouldn't necessarily want. So this is very much geared for students enrolled in our programs only. And it's so easy. I mean, we're familiar with Blackboard. The students are familiar with the Blackboard. It's just easy to keep up to date.
Yeah, absolutely, good points. Because I mean, I would think too, you know, folks could stumble upon things and then wonder, you know, or maybe misinterpret, right, that it's not the same for their program perhaps.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And you know, we do want to be careful, you know, with what information is provided, you know, because we run into that just normally, you know, with some information, maybe an old internship manual, for instance, that was posted on an old website. Well, students have a way of finding those old links and think that that's the most up-to-date version. And it may not be the case. So at least when we have it on the Blackboard community, we know, okay, this is the most up-to-date version. Use this.
And it seems to you know, just facilitate the engagement too that you were looking for among the community, because just a website may just be static information or links perhaps, or you may need another tool to have discussions, right? So the community affords you the opportunity to do all of that in one space.
Yep. Yeah.
So I think that's handy too. Okay. Well, not seeing additional questions, I will go ahead and just wrap us up a little bit here. So first of all, I just want to thank you again to Sara and Brenda about sharing your community with us. It's a great model for us to think about, you know, how else could we use this and what other implications does this have for helping our students, and even in particular now. I know your students were using this before COVID, but just creating that sense of community and giving them the space for the resources that they need right now when many of them can't physically be on campus, right? So that's really useful as well. So we will post the recording of this session along with the slides to our bit.ly link there, where we have our schedule of events, and you can also take a look at anything else being offered for the rest of this week. We have a survey that we would love for you to fill out for us on any sessions that you've attended. And then the United States Distance Learning Association also has a series of events this week, and you can check that out. They are global, so there are events from just all over the world, and it's kind of exciting to see what folks are doing and what topics are being discussed elsewhere as well. So I just want to thank you for your time and your attention today, and I wish you all well.
Thank you.
Thank you.